Every story has a chaos magnet. The one who breaks things, runs away, or feels too deeply. And then, there's the one who quietly keeps everyone else from falling apart. Stephen Conklin is that person. The stable child, the fixer, the comic relief who hides empathy behind humor. In every scene, you can feel it. That quiet steadiness that holds the Conklin-Fisher universe together, even when everything around him is coming undone. The stable child archetype shows up in every family system. The sibling who absorbs tension so others can erupt freely. They're the ones who make things lighter, easier, safer. But what happens when the stable one starts to crumble? Stephen's story isn't about chaos, it's about the cost of keeping calm. Chapter 1: The Forgotten Brother. Stephen Conklin is the show's invisible lens. The guy who's always watching, always saying what the audience is thinking. He's the office's Jim Halpert with Avatar's Sokka sarcasm.
Now come back, Boomerang.
The observer who adds levity right before the storm hits. But more than anything, Stephen's the person who sees. He notices what others miss, and because of that, he quietly anchors everyone else. He's the show's camera that cracks jokes. Part Jim Halpert, part Sokka. From The Office, he inherits that Jim Halpert energy. The smirk, the side eye, the ability to translate chaos into commentary. He doesn't need to break the fourth wall because his face already does. He's the one who says what everyone else is thinking just to keep the story human. And from Avatar, The Last Airbender, he carries Sokka's spirit, the one without superpowers and a house full of main characters, but still the glue that keeps them from combusting. He jokes to keep the peace, but beneath the sarcasm is strategy and heart. Jim and Sokka represent the two sides of Stephen's stable child energy, the external wit and the internal anchor. He's surrounded by emotional extremes, Conrad's repression, Jeremiah's impulsivity, Belly's idealism, and like Sokka, he uses humor to meditate, diffuse, and hold everyone together. That's the paradox of Stephen Conklin. The one who makes light of everything, because he's the only one who understands how heavy it actually is. More than anything, Stephen's the person who sees. He notices what others miss, and because of that, he quietly anchors everyone else. Like the moment he catches Conrad staring at Belly and says,
"You gonna ask my sister to dance or what, Fisher?"
It's not a joke. It's empathy disguised as teasing. He understands exactly what Conrad's feeling, even when Conrad can't say it himself. Stephen puts himself in his shoes and tells him,
"If you love her, man, tell her how you feel."
It's one of those rare lines that shows Stephen's emotional awareness. He's not just observing, he's also guiding. Stephen's the keeper of quiet truths, the memory bank everyone forgets to thank. When Belly remembers it was Jeremiah who found the dog, Stephen corrects her. He knows it was Conrad, and later, when Jeremiah confirms it, you realize Stephen's role. He's the audience's mirror, the grounded one who sees past nostalgia and straight into reality. Even in moments of chaos, Stephen's instinct is to catch people, literally. When Belly falls apart after prom, she runs into his arms, because no matter how messy things get, he's always there. That's Stephen's magic. He doesn't demand to be the center of the story. He simply makes sure the story holds. In a show full of love triangles, Stephen stands just outside of it. Grounded, balanced, and often overlooked. But he's the one who keeps the emotional structure intact. The forgotten brother, yes, but also the foundation. Chapter 2, The Performance Trap. Shyla era. Stephen Conklin has always been the grounded one, but even the stable child wants to feel seen. The first summer at Cousins, he finally gets his shot. A job at the country club, a smart, glamorous girlfriend, and maybe even a ticket to Princeton. For once, the kid who always makes everything look effortless is earning his place in the world he's only ever observed. But beneath the charm, there's performance. He learns early that confidence can get you in the door even if you're serving drinks at someone else's table. At the club, he smiles through the condescension, through the subtle racism of the card room jokes, through the way people like Adam Fisher pull strings just to get him in the room. He's told to let it roll off your back, so he does, because invisibility pays better than confrontation. But the pressure follows him outside those walls, into tuxedos he can't afford, and parties where belonging has a dress code. At the Deb Ball, the mask finally slips. He asks Shyla why she never told him she and Liam were a thing. She brushes it off, and suddenly all his insecurities spill out.
Stephen.
No, I grew up in the suburbs of Philly, all right? Not even that nice of a suburb. I drive a Honda Civic. I don't go to benefits or balls, whatever this is. I'm nothing like him.
That confession isn't about money. It's about value. It's the moment he says what so many stable kids feel, but never admit. The fear that effort will never equal access. That being good won't ever be enough. Upon hearing this, Shyla doesn't flinch. She tells him she's with him because she chooses him. And when he stammers,
I think I love you.
Well, duh.
for the first time, Stephen stops performing and just is. Shyla becomes the mirror he didn't know he needed. Someone who sees through the polish, not past it. She teaches him that authenticity outlasts aspiration, that being chosen means nothing if you can't recognize yourself in the choice. And somewhere between cardroom shifts and tuxedo fittings, Stephen Conklin begins to understand that stability isn't about perfection, it's about honesty. Chapter 3, Being Seen for Real. Taylor era. By the time Stephen Conklin graduates, he's learned how to make everything look easy, even growth. Standing at that podium, giving his valedictorian speech, he says,
There are times where it feels like the world is happening to you, but remember that you are also happening to the world.
It's the kind of line that sounds profound, and it is, but underneath it, you can hear a boy trying to believe it, because behind every polished speech is the part of Stephen that's still learning how to live instead of perform. But life doesn't wait for you to figure it out. After Susanna's death, Stephen's calm turns into control. He becomes the mood manager, the life of every room, the one who won't let silence linger too long. In Season 2, Episode 6, he's that person, the one pulling Taylor to the dance floor, telling the DJ to cue up Party in the USA. And suddenly, this stable kid from Philly is the center of the floor, choreographed and carefree, leading an entire crowd through laughter and light. One thing about Stephen Conklin, he loves to dance. The debutante ball, the cousins party, the choreographed dance scene in Season 3, preparing for the bachelor party. Dancing is how he moves through discomfort. For someone who carries so much emotional weight, joy has become his rebellion. But even joy has its breaking point. When Belly confronts him later that night, grief catches up with both of them. She's mourning, he's deflecting. She tells him he doesn't seem sad about Susanna's death, and for a moment, you can see it hit him. The guilt, the misunderstanding, the exhaustion of always being the strong one. He lashes back and the words come out wrong because that's what happens when the stable child finally cracks. It looks like anger when it's really heartbreak. Later, when it's just him and Taylor, the mask slips. He asks softly,
"Does Belly really think I don't care about Susanna's death?"
Taylor assures him, of course not. Belly was just having a rough night. Then Stephen admits something that feels almost taboo in grief.
"I miss Susanna. But I'm also really excited for Princeton. Am I an asshole?"
And Taylor tells him the truth, that it makes him human. It's one of those rare scenes that shows everything about Stephen, the kid who feels guilty for moving forward, who still measures his goodness by how much he can carry. Taylor doesn't try to fix him, she just sits beside him, steady, calm, and real. And when her own world starts to unravel, Stephen proves again why he's the observer. When Milo mocks Taylor and calls her friends pedestrian, Stephen stands right there as Taylor asks,
"Do you even know me, at all? What's my middle name?"
Madison. Her middle name is Madison.
That's Stephen Conklin, the one who pays attention, the one who listens, remembers, and cares, even when the world doesn't give him credit for it. Taylor and Stephen's connection isn't about grand gestures. It's about quiet understanding. She sees both sides of him, the party starter and the overthinker, the laughter and the longing. And for once, Stephen doesn't have to be the stable one for anyone else. He just gets to be. Because sometimes love isn't about being chosen, it's about being known. Chapter 4, Redefining Success, Denise Era. For most of his life, Stephen Conklin's value came from effort. Be the good son, the calm brother, the guy who gets into Princeton, the one who keeps the peace. But somewhere between heartbreak and healing, Stephen learns that success isn't a finish line. It's a feeling, a kind of inner steadiness that doesn't need applause. With Denise, it starts as a friendly rivalry, a spark of competition that slowly turns into collaboration. She challenges him without making him defensive and calls him out without tearing him down. For the first time, Stephen isn't performing intelligence to prove he belongs. He's using it. He's in a partnership built on curiosity, not comparison. Their decision to start a company together feels symbolic, a quiet rebirth. Stephen's not chasing grades or validation anymore. He's building something real, something that lasts beyond summer. Moving to California isn't just a change of scenery, it's a declaration, a promise to himself that purpose doesn't need prestige. What makes this era powerful isn't romance, it's restraint. At one point, they even tried to start something romantic. But when the spark isn't there, neither of them forces it. And that's what makes this era powerful. It's not defined by romance, but by restraint. Stephen and Denise never cross the line into melodrama. They don't need to. Their story represents emotional maturity, the ability to admire someone without needing to be chosen by them. Because sometimes growth isn't about getting the girl, it's about realizing you don't have to. And as that chapter quietly closes, another opens. The same steadiness that grounds him with Denise finally brings him back to Taylor. This time with honesty, clarity, and without fear. They both stop running from what's always been there. Taylor and Stephen finally choose each other, not because they're chasing comfort, but because they've both learned what it means to stay. Stephen Conklin's evolution isn't loud. It doesn't happen in breakups or grand speeches. It happens in quiet choices, the kind where you stop proving your worth and start living it. He's no longer the stable one holding everyone else together. He's the steady one holding himself. He's not chasing perfection anymore. He's chasing purpose. By the time we reach season 3, Stephen Conklin has quietly become the backbone of this story. He's not caught in the love triangle, but he's surrounded by its fallout, the emotional gravity of Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah orbiting around him. While everyone else is breaking, Stephen is building. We see it in how he steps up, not just as Belly's brother, but as her equal. When things fall apart before the wedding, he's the first to offer comfort.
That's okay, we'll figure it out together. Yeah? I'll find Jer.
It's instinct for him. Protect, reassure, rebuild. But what's changed is that this time, it's not coming from pressure, it's coming from choice. The older brother energy that once came from control now comes from compassion. In season 1, he tried to protect Belly by keeping her out of trouble.
Jesus Christ, Belly,
What are you doing? Embarrassing.
In season 3, he protects her by trusting her. That's growth. Trust your gut in every regard. It's not just advice, it's evolution. Stephen no longer feels the need to solve her problems. Laurel sees it too. The quiet strength in her son who used to crack jokes to keep the peace. You really are all grown up, she tells him. And it's the kind of line that hits harder when you realize it's true. Stephen's not just managing other people's emotions anymore. He's managing his own. Even outside the Fisher-Conklin bubble, we see that maturity take shape. When Taylor's mom struggles with her salon, Stephen shows up, the numbers guy with spreadsheets and solutions. It's a small subplot, but it says everything about him. The stable child becomes the stable adult, still helping, still steady, and still trying. But what's different now is that he learns that not every problem needs saving. Sometimes people just need someone to stand beside them. And when Taylor finally chooses to be with him, it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like peace. Their relationship works now because they're both ready for it. She sees through his humor, he respects her independence, and neither of them are performing anymore. Stephen doesn't have to prove he's the smart one. He just has to be himself. After years of holding everyone else together, he finally finds someone who holds space for him. And that's what makes Stephen's story so quietly powerful. He doesn't need chaos to grow. His transformation lives in the subtleties. The soft-spoken advice, the quiet leadership, and the small acts of care that nobody notices, but everyone feels. Stephen Conklin shows that growth doesn't always come from heartbreak or chaos. Sometimes it comes from consistency, from the quiet work of showing up again and again until stability becomes strength. Conrad represses, Jeremiah reacts, but Stephen reflects, he regulates, and he stays. And maybe that's his real superpower. He doesn't just hold people together anymore. He holds himself. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my full playlist of the Summer I Turned Pretty character deep dives, including The Weight of the Oldest Son on Conrad Fisher and The Daughter Who Became the Mother on Taylor. Until next time, thanks for watching.